Good morning, everybody. I'm Danny, and Donna's behind the camera, and we'd like to welcome you back to the channel. We are Forever Dreaming. Today, we're going to be doing another product install on a 2010 JK Wrangler two-door four-wheel drive Jeep, the tow behind this. So stay tuned. We're going to show you how to do it. We'll be right back. Today's test subject is going to be this 2010 Jeep Wrangler. It's a JK model, and if you look down here, I've already got it kind of prepped. We've got some old leveling blocks that we used to use for our truck camper, but we don't use that anymore because we have liquid springs with the earth leveling system on there. All I wanted to do is give us a little bit more height, so I had more room to get under here. We went with the Roadmaster Baseplate over other options because the Roadmaster doesn't require you to remove the front bumper on here. With the other ones, you have to remove the bumpers, you have to remove the lights, and to me, just why? So with the Roadmaster, you didn't need to do that. Now, every application that we reviewed towards installing different products' base plates all required you to drill into the frame, so be aware of that. With the Roadmaster, it looked fairly easy to install. We're not doing an unboxing to show you how the box came or anything, but it's typical. Came in a brown box. It was very well packed with insulation in it, but this is what comes in the box. So your base plate, these are your removable drawers. These are kind of cool. We'll go over that. These basically go into here and they latch in here with those, and it has the parts bag with the instructions, and this is part number RM 521448-5. So you can either put that in on the eTrailer website to buy this, or you can buy it directly through Roadmaster. The other thing that it doesn't come with that we highly recommend you get into or you buy is some Loctite, and we're going to show you during the install of where this is going to be used at. They don't send you any with it, but you definitely need to get this. One of the reasons that we went with this one is because this is hidden underneath the Jeep, and when you remove these come off, you basically don't see anything in the front. You'll see this part here, but that's really about it. That was one of the main reasons we went with this. That, and you don't have to remove the bumper to install this one. Okay, we opened up the bag. Just want to show you what came with the product. It has all the nuts and bolts that you are going to need, the extra parts and everything, and the directions, which comes in an envelope. We're fixing to drill the frame for the install of the base plate. I basically turned the wheel a little bit so I can get access to get my drill back into here. That's the mark that I'm drilling, and we'll show you here in a minute how we got to those marks. So the directions have us where you're supposed to come in on this side and drill through the existing hole. I didn't do that. I reversed it, and I'll show you why. If you see these other coolant lines, so in the directions, on some of the Jeeps, they don't have this on right here where it's mounted next to the existing hole here. So what we did is we mocked up the bar, but I did my hole over here because it was easier to get to. I already had the existing side on a hole on the other side, so I didn't want to put a drill bit next to the radiator lines. So we're going to go in straight in here, so you can see that like that. So this is hollow, so you just drill through that. This feeds through the other side and bolts onto the bar once on that part here, and we'll show you how that works. See here, you can see that the bolt's gone through, and this was my main concern here. And there's a little grommets where these things set into, so I have to reset it. And if you look on the other side, you'll see it's very close to the line. So I'm putting the spacer on. And then I get the right side. And you finish it off with washer, lock washer. So you got to remember to put Loctite on these. So right now I'm just mocking it up, make sure everything fits like I expect it to. And once I get it going, then I'll put Loctite on there and tighten them all down. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're just mocking up everything. Make sure everything fits before I put the Loctite. So it's best to, on these nuts here, to go ahead and start the bolt through the nut. It'll make it easier. It'll get the, well, if I do it the right way, it'll get the paint out of the holes, so it'll make it easier to thread when you're upside down trying to put this in. So that's just Danny's tip number one. All right, so we're gonna walk you through what we did and how we did it, instead of doing a one long video. We'll put this bolt here, do that, do this. All right, so baby, go ahead and pan out a little bit. So it is installed. The best advice I can give you towards installing one of these is, because our lines for the radiator were close to where these bolts here go, it was best for us to come in this way and drill. So on the inside of the frame, there's a hole. And basically when we mocked this thing up, we basically installed the bottom so I could get my drill point. When this was up, I put a magic marker or a Sharpie in here, and I marked my spot where I could drill this way to reach the opened end of the other side of the frame. It was kind of a booger drilling in, but it wasn't too bad. So basically we did this exact same thing on the other side. We made our marks, and then if you come down here, baby, and on ours, it didn't line up with our existing holes here. So we had to drill holes here and here. And again, when we mocked it up, I had these plates there and we just marked where they were. We took the bar back off and did all our drill points. So it was a big help with putting these yellow levelers up to give us more room. Because if I didn't have that, it would have been really hard to have enough room here to drill with the drill. I highly recommend that you might go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy a new bit, because I used an older bit that I had laying around, and it took probably 3 times as long because I was being stubborn and didn't want to go buy a new bit. So the two important tools that you're going to need with this job are safety glasses, because when you're underneath of this thing and you start banging around, the dirt, the rust, and everything is going to fall on your face. And so I'd highly recommend that you do use safety glasses. You know, and the second thing is the Loctite. So there's different kinds of Loctite. There's the blue and the red, and blue pretty much means removable, and this is the step up from 242. If you look at this one's 243. So this is like the maximum strength of the blue Loctite. If you put the red, that's even more strength, and I don't like to use red because it makes it really hard to get off. But they make Loctite that's supposed to be able to get off with all your hand tools, but just from past experience, I pretty much don't use the red. I like this one. So it probably took us, I'd say, 2 hours to install it, and that's because the drill bit, if I had a better drill bit, it would have probably took 30 minutes less, to be perfectly honest. But I would give yourself a good 2 hours. And one thing that we did learn from putting this up, another tip, is put everything in, bolt everything loosely to make sure it fits before you start tightening down. So what I did is, you know, we put all the bolts in and everything, and then we take one out on one side, Loctite it, tighten it down, do the opposite on the other side, and tighten it down. So that's what I would do, just to kind of make sure everything fits like it's supposed to before you start tightening down one side
and do an oopsie because it's off by, you know, quarter of, or eighth of an inch or something, and you got to move this back around. The directions were pretty good. It wasn't a hard install. If you were on a lift, this would be a lot easier, but you can save a lot of money by doing this yourself instead of hiring somebody to do it for you. The quotes that we got to install these things were stupid. So again, 2 hours with the labor, basic tools that you would have laying in your garage would complete the job. Safety glasses, Loctite, and a new 1/2-inch metal bit. You got anything that you want to say, babe?
Yeah, so I thought it was cool the nuts that you attach to these two right here were attached to a wire, because you got to feed them into this hole and get them attached that way. So you were able to hold on to that black wire in order to hold the nut in place.
That made the job super easy. These were easy to do because they had nuts that were specially designed that don't turn, that fit in this rail here. The hardest part for us was actually the hose. If you look up here, babe, I don't know if you can get right up in here, but this is where we had to drill through and put the nut, and it's right on this bar here. And I'm hoping that's not going to be a big deal. I might put a little bit of foam in there just to kind of keep it off that nut a little bit. So this here, you just pull the plastic tabs out, and then you can move this around, and it gets you access to where the bolt is. If you better shot of where that hose and the bolt is there. Another thing I'd recommend is when you're drilling, after you're done drilling, use a creeper like what we have, or put a piece of plywood, or I'm sorry, a box underneath, because you're gonna have all the shavings from the frame that you just drilled, and they're gonna get into your arms and your back. Don't ask me how I know, but that's what I would recommend. Sometimes I wish I'd take my own advice. So we're gonna show you how to install the side arms on these. You'll see that they have the release clip. These are super easy, very, very convenient. So you just push it in like that, turn it, clicks, locks. Take it out, you pull the pin right here, pull that out, and just turn it and pull it out. It's that easy. The inside here goes for your wiring, so those are both go on the inside like that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked this video and you got anything out of it, please hit the like button. If you have a comment and tell me what I did wrong, throw it in there. I'm always looking for advice. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we appreciate your support.